Hey guys, Nova Bush here and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about a topic where it's quite an interesting one, where someone made a YouTube video talking about Sunrise and if you should buy Sunrise. But instead of actually talking about what the Sunrise offers and what it gives and what it doesn't give, he just changed up into saying buy GU instead because GU has more monsters, and in his opinion styles and arts are better than Switch Guild and so on. He's very blunt about all and very loose in his information given, and I wanted to talk about that topic here, and I also wanted to give my personal take on buying and what should you buy and what you shouldn't buy, because I feel like, as someone who's played a lot of GU more than most people and has played quite a lot of Rise and now Sunbreak as well, I think I can give a quite good opinion. But yeah, let's get into the video. Now coming to the question on if you should buy Rise, Sunbreak, or you should buy GU. Then the answer is you should just buy both. Both games are fantastic in their own right. Now I'm going to tackle these ones differently individually, but I'm going to start with probably Sunbreak and then we go to GU, because Sunbreak is the game I've been playing more recently. Sunbreak has added a lot of nice quality when it comes to narrative of the game, when it comes to dealing with NPCs, when it comes to the fights in G rank. I think this is the most I've seen a change in high rank to G rank in monsters. Normally it's just like, you know, you had to move, they're slightly faster, they do, you know, a lot more damage, but now the monsters, some monsters feel like whole different monsters in general. They're hitting much harder, they're so fast, they're tracking you, they're following you, they feel smarter. There's some moves, some monsters have multiple moves, new moves, and they really trick you up, and the way they use their moves are really tricking you up, so each fight just feels so refreshing. Like Barrier Off, I haven't been refreshed fighting a Barrier Off in a long time. I really like what they did to Barrier Off, I really like what they did to Gossarak, and even Act some amazing fights for them all. And then when it comes to the followers quests are fantastic now. I'm really liking them. I feel like this is something that it would have been really great if we had in base Rise, but we don't. But now we have it, and I think it works really well with the characters, getting characters involved in the story. Not even necessarily in the story, the side story. Like, so it's not just you doing stuff, right? You can really see that these guys are hunting with you. That they're out there, they're doing stuff, and I like it. I like the interactions that the characters have with each other, the way they talk with each other, the way they can pick what weapon they use, and you can actually see information about them. So they all have their own personality, right? They're not just boilerplate characters just to say stuff to push a narrative. They actually have personality, and you can see it through how they fight, right? Like, what's her name? I can't remember her name now. The bow woman, Lou something. She's crazy basically, right? You can see from her dialogue, and you can see that she's so invested into the hunt that she doesn't really focus on anything else, right? Because she doesn't heal. It even says in her dialogue she doesn't heal. You know, you can see that certain people heal more than others. You see someone like Jay, I think his name is. Yeah, you have Jay. He doesn't really heal at all. He's more like a rash, you know, young upstart. They call him the rookie hunter. He's like trying to get his name out there, trying to, you know, he really looks up to the older hunters, and he really pushes himself. So he tries to just, you know, focus on the fighting, which is really cool. And you see through his dialogue with other characters and how he interacts, it's really nice to see. Now coming to the town itself is really charming. Seeing the mountains in the background, the waterfalls, the busy city, with all the machinery moving. Not that there's many people walking about. There doesn't need to be. But just the things around. It feels really open. I really like it. I really like wire bugging around everywhere. It's a really nice zone. I really like it overall. And they've also changed some of the Dungo stuff, which is really great. The Dungo abilities, they've added a lot more, which is cool. When it comes to the new areas, the jungle, the Citadel, fantastic arenas. I love both of those. Both of those have such good tones, such good music, the good themes, the good places to run about, a lot of good secrets, and great places to fight. I also feel so hype and so inspired to fight when I'm in those maps. I'm just hearing the music go. I'm like, yo, this is my time. Fantastic stuff. They've done a really good job with those two maps. It's gonna go down with one of my favorite maps recreated, and one of my favorite maps in general now with the Citadel. Like, fantastic stuff. They've done extremely well. They've really boasted a lot with this game. The armors, the new skills, the weapons, the crafting, the rebalancing of mechanics, really well done. Switch skill swaps takes you some time to get used to. Even saying it is difficult, and maybe sometimes you won't use it as much as you'd like to use it, and I think that's totally fine. It's a feature there for you to want to use it. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it as much. But I feel like you can really come up with some really clever ways to use your weapon, swapping between different loadouts. Like one of the things I've been switching between a lot has been with my gun lance. I've been switching a lot between 2 different scrolls, trying to up my damage and then also reloading my riving blast so I can use it more often. Like I think it's fantastic. I think they really do a good service with the switch skill swap. Fantastic. I'm actually really impressed with the idea, and the execution actually works well, and it's not as free as I thought it would be originally. I thought it would be quite free, that doesn't take a Y bar, but there's actually quite a lot of end lag, so if you use it prematurely, you're in trouble. The game is definitely getting difficult. I haven't completed the game, so I can't say how the end game is. I can't say that. People have said the end game is great, there's a lot to do. I haven't got there, but so far there's a lot of variety in quests. This is great. It reminds me of GU, but even more quests in GU, which is crazy, because GU has loads of quests. But this one definitely feels like it's going to have more quests overall. Maybe not when it comes to Deviant quests, because Deviant quests had so many quests. That was insane. Actually, well, 16 quests times, what, like 18? Fuck me, that's like in the 300s. Well, just in 18 monsters, yeah, imagine that. But yeah, no, it's fantastic stuff. One thing that I think is kind of a shame is when you're playing multiplayer hunts is that sometimes monsters feel like they die a bit too easy. I feel like maybe some more HP would be good, and definitely also on multi-monster hunts. I know traditionally they have a bit less HP, but I think a bit more, so it's not too quick. You know, I think in multi-monster hunts, when you play multiplayer, you know, a monster shouldn't die. It should be more than 5 minutes each, I would say. I would like personally prefer. I think some of them definitely are too short. I can't really bring on comparisons to older games. I don't know off my head, but that's just a feeling I have. If I'm wrong, you know, let me know down below, guys. I would, you know, definitely take that in. When you're playing solo, it's completely fine though. I think the HP is fine playing solo, at least now. I don't know about later on in the game, but yeah, that's what I have to say on that. Sunbreak won't ever have the same amount of monsters as GU. That's just expected. If anyone's expecting that to happen, or praising that GU that it has more monsters in that retrospect, like that's a really bad comparison. GU is a celebration game. It's meant to have more monsters like that. That's the whole point of GU. GU is celebrating all the monster hunters before it and adding in as much as it possibly can, and it does it fantastically. This is one of the great things I love about GU, and why I kept playing it over and over, because I could test out so many different styles, just like as I do in Rise and Sunbreak, different switch skills and so on. But I could do that in GU as well. Well, back when I used to play GU, when the game was newer to me, and I used to just test out so many different things on different monsters. And the thing is, even if you don't want too much difficulty, there's always ways. If you're a newer player, there's always ways to play the game without that. The village quests aren't too difficult. They're quite relevantly easy to get through, but there's quite a lot of content there. It doesn't go up to G rank, unfortunately, but it does go up to high rank, which is nice. So it can get you started until you get to G rank. And when it comes to G rank, and you want more difficulty, then you have things like hyper monsters, which adds a lot of depth and a lot of variety in things to hunt, because there's so much to craft from that. G has too much to craft, in fact, that some people just feel a bit overwhelmed in how much there is to do in the game. I mean, hell, look at this right now. I'm going to show it on the screen right now. If you haven't seen this before, this is just how many monsters, how many weapons I have in this game. I've fought so many things. I've killed so many monsters and crafted as many things as I possibly could, because I freaking love this game. GU is, and still could be, I don't know yet. I'm still playing Sunbreak, but before playing Sunbreak, it was my favorite game. I was on the fence about if Rise were to overtake it. I think Rise is in my third spot, because I just love the gameplay and I love the combat and the music. Even though the difficulty wasn't as high as I'd like it to be, it had a lot of strengths. But GU just pushes a lot of my buttons, which is it's fantastic. It's an amazing game overall. Now, GU doesn't really push any narrative. It doesn't do too much new apart from combat. It focuses mostly on combat. I know it's quite funny. I'm just gonna insert this here. It's quite funny in another video. The guy said Rise isn't a hunting game, it's just a killing game. GU is basically the same thing. GU is not a hunting game. It's mostly a killing game. They don't focus much on the hunting stuff. You don't really need to worry about getting material. There's so many ways to get what you need to get. You get quite a lot of materials as well. Not as many as you might get in newer games, but you get quite a lot of stuff. They're quite generous in the ways to make stuff. There's so much to make. That's probably why. And then also on top of that, you can also send people off to fight stuff for you, even though that's kind of lame because they all seem to fail for me. So I never really touched that anymore. But yeah, it's a way for you to send people you've met to fight for you, to get you stuff. GU has some fantastic fights. The even fights are fantastic. Some of the best fights ever in Monster Hunter, and I hope to see them return again, not in Apex form, in proper GU fashion. I think that would just be glorious for everyone involved. You know, full armor sets, weapons, and everything. Like, they did them really well in GU. The issue with them in GU is that in GU they didn't really have the system itself was quite, fortunately, not done too well. You have to do the quest many times over if you're doing it with friends. If you're doing it alone, you still need to do it at least around 25 times to fully upgrade your whole armor set. And you can see right here, I've unlocked a lot of armor sets, so you can tell how many times I've killed some of these monsters, and most of them solo, because that's how I play the game. I'm a solo hunter, definitely in GU. But yeah, no, the game offers you a lot of variety of monsters to fight, and it's just fantastic. GU is one of the best games I've ever played, and one of the best experiences overall. But just because GU is an amazing game and it offers you a lot, it doesn't take away from other games in the series. Like, imagine telling someone who wanted to jump in on World, saying, what's the point in getting World when you can just get GU with more monsters? So, or in fact, what? I could say, what's the point in getting World when you can just play 3U with more monsters, 4U with more monsters? It's weird to use that as a reason why to get something and why not to get something else. Like, why does it have to be an ultimatum? I think both games are fantastic in their own right, and definitely are top tiers in Monster Hunter and just in gaming in general. Now, I've been spitballing on just a lot of things on top of my head of what I love about these games and how much I see myself enjoying these games. Now, yes, it's true that Sunbreak doesn't definitely at the start of the game, it doesn't give you as much difficulty as I'd like. MR1 and MR2 doesn't give you as much as later one, and MR3 really picks off and it gets really exciting. I think that's probably due to a fault of them not adding as many new lower tier monsters. A lot of the monsters they added into Sunbreak are more like the mid tier and the higher tier, which is definitely fine, but I think it also makes a lot of sense to add some mid tier just to sprucing up the roster a bit. I think that's something they just need to remember for the future. But I think it's fine overall. Coming back to the guy who actually made the video originally, you can obviously tell this guy's he's just doing a disservice to GU itself as well, and just basically just lying when it comes to Sunbreak. It doesn't even look like he even played Sunbreak, because I'm there looking at his content, and in his video he's fighting a low rank Ludroth. Like, bruh, you can't even get your own videos of you actually playing Sunbreak yourself. You have to take someone else's video, upload that instead, and then talk about like you actually played the game. I'm not sure if you have, which is upsetting. I'm not sure if he has. I wish people wouldn't talk about stuff that they haven't played about. I don't talk about things I don't know about. That's just what I do. So I don't talk. Yeah. So just for people in general, just don't talk about what you don't know, because it's evident that this guy didn't know and he still decided to chat, because that's what some people like to do. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Longer video than I expected now, but I guess I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.